All right, we are live back on the Andre Duke Show with Carter Smith. Carter, how we doing, man?
Good, man. Hey, it's a nice little hump day, little Wednesday action for you. It's a good day, man. I had my kids all day yesterday. I know we had the show Monday where you could kind of hear them and see them and everything like that, but had them all day yesterday. They were stayed home sick from school, so I was playing dad all day, and then today, got back to work and got back out there and grinding and just had a good day, man. It was a good day, and there was a lot going on the social media sphere and everything like that. So lots to talk about, as we have every day. There's always lots to talk about, right? But overall, man, I'm doing great. It's been a good week. Getting ready for this weekend. There's not as much college football action. Obviously, we got a little time off. We'll talk about the Army Navy game and things like that. But how about you, man? How's your week going so far?
Week is going well. Can't complain. Got tonight off. We're ready to rock and roll. Ready to dive into this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we got a little special edition here for you tonight, where Duke doesn't have a hard out. So if you guys keep it pumping in the chat and ask questions and keep the conversation going, we'll stay on here as long as you guys want us to. But we'll jump into it. I saw on social media, and I thought it was funny. So Jill Biden, our current First Lady, went and visited the Notre Dame Cathedral. Did you see that? Did you hear about this?
Yeah, I heard about this.
Yeah, and so it was just her, though. The president wasn't in attendance, and there's a rumor as to why. We know they sent Joe Biden solo because the last thing on earth they needed was Joe asking how the football team's doing. I just thought that was hilarious. Just so on brand. And again, we don't get into politics on this show, but we can all laugh about it, right?
I think anybody who is sitting in that office, it's kind of like a Saturday Night Live thing. You can just laugh, and that's something that's kind of lost in what we do today. People do not do the whole politics thing very well.
Yeah, but it was funny, and good for them. They sent her over there. I know it burned down a few years ago, if I remember correctly, maybe during COVID or something like that. Like, it had a major fire, and so I know they've invested a lot of money to rebuild it. I'm sure it's beautiful. Our Lady Notre Dame, or whatever they call it.
Yes.
But outside of just funny, satire stuff, I'm going to try to play this video. I've been having trouble with the audio on videos recently, so I hope it plays. But obviously, Syracuse is going to a bowl, right? They have a bowl game against, I forget who it's against, but they are going to play another game. And Kyle McCord has been kind of ominous about if he's going to play in the game, if he's not going to play in the game. He accepted an invitation to the East-West Shrine game, I believe it was, or the Senior Bowl, something like that, to go further his pro status and to try to get drafted. But he hasn't said for sure. But Fran Brown has some opinions on this, and let's see if we can hear it here. Let me know if you can't. I'm going to try to present it right now. Producer Ed is apparently off for the year. He's got family stuff going on or something. I don't know, but let me put this up here and tell me if you can't hear it.
Kyle McCord.
Yep. Your quarterback.
I think he's playing. What you think?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
I think he's playing.
Do you know if he's playing?
He loves football. Do you love football?
I love watching it.
Are you asking me questions?
I'm trying.
Do you like asking questions?
I don't mind.
So I don't mind answering them. I think Kyle's playing, though. Kyle's playing football. If we're going to have a football game, Kyle McCord will play in the football game. Until the NCAA says Kyle can't play football anymore, then he'll stop playing college football and he'll go play on the next level. But whenever there's a football game, he'll be at it. If we called the game in 2 hours and we said we was about to have a game, Kyle will probably be the first one there to play football.
Has anybody opted out at this point?
Man, we don't opt out around here, man. We play football. We like the game. Like, we get to play football. The more football you play, the more the NFL watches.
So
I mean, I know we're, we have different opinions and stuff like that. I love that.
I love it, man. I love it, and I think it's a great. And also, like, I heard it on a different podcast that I watch frequently, and I think she might be a grad student at this point. I think he's trying to go younger, but the reporter seemed so just giddy and excited to be talking to Fran Brown. It was almost like he was like flirting with Fran, right? But I love it. Like he's like, I don't know, what do you think? And just keeps going. And we play football here. We don't opt out. I love it. I love Fran Brown. I think he's a great coach. I love what he's doing at Syracuse. Obviously, you can say that at Syracuse. It's a little more difficult when you're at a bigger program and kids are actually projected to be top 5 picks and opt out. It's a little harder to tell them not to. But I think Kyle McCord's going to play, and I love Fran Brown for saying it. I think that's great.
Yeah, I absolutely love the fact that these kids are going to play in the bowl games. They have a commitment to the team. How does this look? If you're Luther Burton, you have Shedeur Sanders, arguably the number 1 quarterback playing, Cam Ward, arguably the number 1 quarterback playing, Kyle McCord might get drafted.
He'll probably get drafted, but day 2 or 3, probably day 3.
But you have all these, potential NFL players, and especially on Colorado's defensive side of the ball, I think they got, a couple day 2 guys, but nonetheless NFL guys that, that it's not a sure thing. And I like the fact that, Fran Brown and Coach Sanders and some of the other coaches have came out and said, like, our guys are playing. Like, we're not doing this. We're not doing this opt-out thing.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I like that. I mean, I understand why you'd opt out, right? I mean, I get that, especially if you're not in the playoffs. If you're playing what is essentially a meaningless bowl game, right? You're not playing for anything real. Like, I understand why you'd opt out. But college football and football in general is the only sport in the world where people opt out of games to put less tape out there for the pros to evaluate. Like, if you're a baseball player, you want as many at-bats as possible before you get drafted. If you're a basketball player, you're playing in every game. You never see people opting out of March Madness.
Nope.
Like, that never happens because you need as much tape as possible. Football is the only sport where somebody's like, nah, I'm good.
For me, like, the opting out is dumb. And for the people that do the opting out, have we ever seen, has it benefited anybody? Caleb Williams opted out, and we see how well that's working out.
I mean, I think the one example that you could use is Jamar Chase. He opted out of an entire season, still got picked in the top 5 or whatever, and is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL now. I think that was a smart decision, right? Why risk injury? You would have been a top 5 pick last year. You just legally couldn't enter the draft. So opt out of a shortened COVID season or whatever it was, and say, fuck it. I already put enough tape out there. So I think that's one of the examples of where it definitely benefited him to not play. I think he could have played and it wouldn't have hurt him to play. But it is what it is. At this point.
I think the opting out thing, I get the whole not working out at the combine. It is what it is. I don't think that it's I don't think it benefits you, like opting out for the last game, of the year. If somebody's hurt, I understand that, but like, if you're perfectly healthy and you say, "Oh, I'm going to opt out and get ready for the draft," it's not even to the point to where they can't have agents anymore because, i.e., Chris Carter, Uh, it's just one of those things, and I can't fathom it.
Yeah,
And
and Brennan hits it on the head here. I feel like the playing time and the tape is worth it, worth the potential injury, unless, like I said, unless you're a Jamar Chase type of guy. But I am having a little bit of technical difficulties here, so I'm gonna hop off and fix that real quick, and I'll be right back. Duke's gonna hold it down and talk a little bit more about opting out and things like that. I'll be right back, Duke.
gotcha. Yeah. My feeling on the whole opt out thing, I just don't think it's going to be. I don't think the player. It's going to benefit the player in it as much as what they think it's going to. We have. I think the Smith kid from Notre Dame, uh, Jalen Smith was one of the kids that did get hurt. It did affect his career, but realistically, it's just rough on the whole outcome of the draft process. I don't think that you can completely gauge the draft process on top of somebody that's getting hurt or has gotten hurt. I mean, this is football. This is what we do. Um, you know, it's if we're thinking we're gonna put flags on them or anything like that. But I'm just gonna. Oh, there he is.
All right. Hopefully this is a little better audio quality and everything like that. We'll see. But I had to reset my headset and everything like that. But sorry about that.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. We'll work through it.
Yeah. But as far as the opting out goes, I agree. I could hear what you were saying at the end there. I think opting out generally is a soft move, and I think the NFL views it that way. Honestly, if you opt out and you aren't just a massively talented, guaranteed top 10 pick, I think opt outs are soft.
Yeah, and I just don't. I don't think it's. I don't think it's conducive for the sport. It's not conducive for behavior, as I would say. I don't think it
Mhm.
keeps you engaged like they think it does.
Yeah, I agree completely. Shifting focus a little bit here. I know you saw this, but there is a school in Ohio that has won, I think it's 64 straight high school football games and like 7 state titles. And let me throw it up here. Yeah, I forget how many state titles in a row, but they've won 64 games in a row, and they dominated the state championship game. It's Division 7, so it's pretty low level football. It dominated 74-0. I mean, what do you do at this point if you're a school in this division? How do you even compete?
And the one of the wilder stats is that the majority of the kids on the team, their parents are from Maria Stein, and Maria Stein's really close to where I grew up in
Mm,
on the Indiana Ohio border, and like it's like a stone's throw in uh because and if you went to that town, you would just be like, they have this many state titles, and it's not a bad town. It's Mercer County is one of those towns that everybody knows everybody. Whenever you drive through like Fort Recovery, people wave at you and they don't even know who it is. That's
yeah,
how tight knit the communities are over there. And I think out of the 51 kids, like 45 of the kids had both parents go to Maria Stein. So when people end up in that neck of the woods, they don't leave. Um, that's it's
yeah,
a it's a nice community, great people over there. They have good athletes. Obviously not at the tip top Division 1 level, but they send
yeah.
a lot of kids places. And the senior class has never lost a football game,
That's insane. That's
and they
absolutely
want,
insane.
and it's been I think the last 8 classes have multiple championships.
Absolutely insane. I mean, it's absolutely insane. But like I see a lot of people being like, man, they need to move up. They need to do this. And you got to understand, they don't control that. Like, they can't move divisions. Like, it's not like the FBS and FCS where you can just, like, switch. Like, it's determined by the number of kids in your school.
They have under 100 kids in their school.
Yeah. There's absolutely no way for them to move up. Like, outside of just adding a bunch of people somehow, like, there's no way for them to move division. So what do you want them to do? They're just going to continue to dominate this division. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the answer is to make it more competitive, because 74-0 in a state championship game is absolutely insane.
I'm just saying. And then where their field is at, Carter, it's right next to a grain elevator. So you have the school, the field, and then the grain elevator.
Hey, you gotta love them corn-fed boys out there in Western Ohio. All right.
And Coldwater's the same way. It's like when it's Friday nights on football Friday. It's you could shut the town down.
Yeah,
and
so
that's one of the talks. St. Henry's been down a little bit. I'm trying to think of Todd Beckman went to St. Henry.
One of my favorite things, so I grew up in Central Ohio, right? I went to Dublin Kaufman, played football for them. We went to the state Final Four, played St. X. We can get into that story another time. It's a whole fucking shit show. We should have won. We didn't, but we didn't win. But one of the coolest things I've ever seen, so growing up in Central Ohio, like, high school football is big, but like, fucking Dublin doesn't shut down just because Kaufman's playing a football game, right? Like, I mean, the like, shit goes on. Like, the movie must continue, right? The show goes on. But when my oldest brother was a senior, they went out and they played Logan down in Logan County, Ohio. And in the first round game, it was at Logan. And so we went down there for that game. And dude, driving through that town, getting to the game, I was like, dude, this is fucking awesome. Like, businesses closed down at 5 o'clock on a Friday with signs that said "Gone to the game." Like, they shut that shit down to go to the Logan game. And I'm like, dude, I wish I played in a city like this. Like, that's so cool. Now, Dublin, we got 3 high schools. We got, like, I mean, it's never going to happen. But that's the type of town that, like, exactly like Richie said, like a Friday night lights type of town. Like West Canaan, Texas, the Wolf Pack shutting down the city to go out there and watch the kids play. Like, Ironton, yeah. Ironton is like that. Ironton's legit, too. I love Ironton, man. That's a cool city down in southeast Ohio. I mean, right on the border, almost in West Virginia. But I wish I had that. Sean Terry, yeah, I know a little bit about Sean Terry. But that's to me what high school football is about. And right, exactly, like, that's awesome. That is awesome. Oop, I'm just showing all kinds of shit here. But it's awesome. Those type of towns deserve mad respect, and they deserve to be appreciated for what they are. And that's part of the reason that I have such an issue with Friday night college football games, is because it hurts those towns specifically. But it is what it is. In other news around Ohio, I don't know if you saw this, but there's new legislation that is going to be introduced, or has been introduced, in the state legislature after the debacle that was the post game of the Michigan-Ohio State game, where people were getting pepper sprayed, police officers were getting assaulted. So a state rep who is I believe he went to Toledo. He's from Toledo. He introduced new legislation that would make planting a flag at the 50-yard line of the horseshoe a felony.
I think that this is just. I think out of everything that's wrong in Ohio, out of everything that's wrong, I think we have like better things to do with our time as being a state representative.
They called it the OHIO Sportsmanship Act.
It's just
it's a bad look.
It is just such a waste of time. And like I know you did it to be like funny, but it would be like me and you doing like a comedy podcast. It would be a waste of time because none of us are comedians. I
got a few jokes.
I just think that this is.
Yeah, it would be. Listen, waste of taxpayer money, as Richie said. 100%. Damn it, 100%. Oh, and yeah, it's a pussy move. It is. And here's the video. I have a video for you.
What's up, Joe?
I got a video for you of Mr. Josh Williams explaining himself, and it's about 2 minutes. I don't know if I'll let it go the whole time, but I do want to. I'm gonna throw it up here, and here's his explanation.
No audio.
No audio on this one?
I don't got it now.
Okay.
Red Bar Horse, what do you think of this legislation? Who's? Williams, to ban flag planting.
I think sportsmanship should be cool again. I mean, he's just trying to help us out.
Sportsmanship is be cool. Is that what we're about? This is what we become on Cowboys Squared, sportsmanship?
If I have to be called soft to preserve the integrity of our institutions and prevent
you're an institutionalist now?
And prevent our law enforcement officers from getting injured from a violent encounter on the field because of a damn flag, I don't mind being called soft for that. Obviously, we deployed mace. That's not light.
It's not.
It's
nasty.
Or use of force, right?
I mean, that was. I think that. Oh yeah, I've been maced. It's some Notre Dame fan. It's on Twitter. Some Notre Dame fans saved me.
So what we did when we went to Michigan and won, we just had our band play for a half hour before we all leave.
Yeah.
So that's how you do it.
But Ferguson, this isn't government overreach to you, big government.
Michigan doesn't count. As long as it's Michigan only, it's allowed to happen.
Yeah. Damn, I'm going
to offer an amendment. It only applies to the team up north.
So they would get arrested, in your arrested charge book right there.
You don't have to get arrested in Ohio when it comes to a felony. You can get a direct indictment. You can get a bill of information. You don't have to technically get arrested.
Yeah.
So I deal with that on a daily basis. And 9 times out of 10, if it ever got charged, it'll get reduced down to a misdemeanor and a fine.
Yeah.
But the idea was to send a shot across the bow, saying whatever you need to do, step in. Otherwise, we will.
They're calling us soft, brother. They're calling us soft. You're as a tweet. It's like a tweet,
As long as they're calling Ryan Day soft, that's fine.
Yeah, Ryan Day is soft. Do you think Ryan Day should
needs to go?
He needs to go.
He needs to go.
Okay.
I would have fired him on the field.
Oh, there we go.
All right, we can break that down, but I do like whoever the guy is asking the questions. He kind of pushes back on him there, right? He's like, dude, they're calling us soft, and I don't care, call me soft. But
I think the other two guys that they asked about it, I think that they think this is a joke. I think that the government overreaching, it is. It's just come on. You have homeless people by the thousands in Cleveland, in Akron, and all the other places. And we'll draw up legislation to plant flag planting.
Yeah. It's a bad look, first of all. But and then he's being called soft, and he's like, I don't care, call me soft if it protects our officers, if it does this. And then at the end, he's like, should Ryan Day have a job? Is Ryan Day soft? He goes, yeah, he's soft. And should he have a job? I'd have fired him on the field. Oh, now you're real tough. But
yeah, I just
it's a bad look for Ohio. Honestly, it's a bad look. It's a felony's crazy, and it would get pled down. Obviously, no court is ever going to uphold that. But I think it should be a felony to lose to Michigan 4 fucking times. How about that?
I just, there's going to be some people out there championing it, and I'm just going to just stop it. Just win the game, and you don't have to worry about it.
Right, that's all you do. Don't run out there with a bullshit game plan and lose to the most pathetic Michigan team they've had since fucking Brady Hoke was there.
Right. But, yeah, Joe, a state representative in Ohio wants to make planting a flag in the horseshoe illegal. He wants to make it a felony. But
Exactly. I think season ticket holders, boosters, anybody that paid for the $20 million roster, they need damages from Ryan Day for what he did to this football team. Defamation of character for the Ohio State program, a fucking fraud for saying that he was going to build a championship level program and losing to Michigan the way that he did. I think there needs to be recourse for that.
Right. It's just really, really strange. But we'll go ahead and reset the show here. If you're watching out there on Twitter, we got plenty of people in the chat tonight. We got Joe, we got Brendan, we got Richie, we got all kinds of people in the chat tonight. If you're watching on Twitter, come on over and hit that like and subscribe button. We're trying to grow this show, and we're doing the best we can with what we got. So we'll keep.
One guy I don't see in the chat tonight. That's your boy Wade. Where's Wade at?
No, yeah.
Did Deadpool leave? What happened, Wade? Duke told you to eat a dick and you disappeared.
Well, I mean, we weren't even 10 minutes into the show and it was already labeled clickbait, which
Oh no, I know. That's why I clicked it up, bro.
Oh yeah.
Put that shit out there. But obviously playoffs are set, right? Home teams are set. So there is an interesting question being asked as to the seeding of everything. And so I wanted to throw it up here and see your thoughts. Here are the resumes of the teams that are hosting a playoff game. Obviously, you got Texas, Penn State, Notre Dame, Ohio State are the 4 teams hosting first-round playoff games at home. When you look at that, did they get the seeding right?
Why doesn't SMU have a home game? Because the other two, I get why Notre Dame has a home game because they're the highest ranked. They don't have a conference championship. So why does SMU not have a home game? Because Penn State played for a conference title, lost. Texas played for a conference title, lost. Why doesn't SMU? It's still baffling to me.
You didn't even want SMU in the playoffs. Why do you care?
I'm just saying they should have a home playoff game like Penn State and Texas.
Well, why should Texas have a home playoff game?
Because they lost in the SEC championship.
Yeah, I know, but they haven't beat a single top 25 team. Everybody else has.
Well, at the time when they played Texas A&M, they weren't ranked.
Okay, and they're still not.
So you got Notre Dame has a win over A&M, but it's really strange. Penn State didn't beat anybody either.
They at least have one top 25 win.
Yeah,
that's more. And this isn't at the time they played. This is right now. So Texas has 0 wins against teams currently ranked in the top 25. Penn State has 1. Notre Dame has 1. Ohio State has 2. Why is Texas ranked 5th? What have they done? Other than lose twice to the only team they played all year.
Exactly. And they lost at home and at a neutral site. But,
yeah,
I mean, one of the bigger questions I have is SMU should have a home playoff game. I
can't fathom that you are the one saying that right now. Yesterday, you were telling me SMU shouldn't even be in the playoff.
I think if you're gonna put them in, if you're gonna back them in like you did, you got to give them a home playoff game, because it would be all 3 conference losers would have playoff games.
So now not only do you get an auto bid if you win the conference, but you get an auto home game if you lose the conference.
Yeah, because they gave the other teams that. They gave Penn State and Texas that.
So you're saying that it should be Texas, Penn State, Notre Dame, and SMU with home games?
Yes.
And Ohio State shouldn't have one?
No. Didn't play for your conference championship.
Oh, man. All right. That's a bold take.
You didn't play for your conference championship.
Yeah, but
they awarded the other 2. Hey, how about this? Ohio State, don't lose to Michigan at home. Score more than 10 points.
You sound just like me about Alabama, but you were beating the table for Alabama.
I think Alabama is better than SMU, but that's totally irrelevant. I've buried that, and it is gone. It's been buried, and this is a
question. This is a question. How is Indiana in the playoffs and Army isn't?
Because Army got completely blown out by Notre Dame.
Indiana got beat by 3 scores by Ohio State. Their only team they played all year.
Huh. Well, they're 11-1. They didn't lose 3 games. That's why they're in.
Army's 11-1. Didn't lose 3 games.
I don't know what to tell you. It's called this is called playing in the Big Ten versus the American.
Yeah, but I understand. I understand why. I agree with Brendan. I think Army does have better wins, in my opinion, too. But Indiana played teams that people recognize more, so that's why. I'm not saying it's right. I think Army has a great argument to be in the playoffs, and I've said that for a long time. And I thought I honestly thought Army should maybe get in over Clemson if Clemson won the conference championship. I thought the American would have an argument for Army being the 5th conference champion over Clemson. I think there's an argument there.
But see, here's the whole issue I have, like what we had yesterday. Either Indiana is good or not. They're either good or they're not. There is no in between. There is no picking it up that Indiana is bad and we want to use the strength of schedule. And this is the whole issue I have with the 12-team playoff, because we can't do this shit when it's convenient to fit an argument. And it's not SEC people doing it. It's Big Ten people doing it. And it's people that I hear, people that I work with, people that I see that pick this argument up and say, well, Indiana's not any good. Well, okay, then why the hell are they on Ohio State's compelling win list? If they weren't any good, then you shouldn't have put them in the playoff. That's just the whole thing I'm saying. Because
I hear you.
Because if Indiana goes out there and gets smashed by Notre Dame,
and they will.
What are we doing? Don't you think Alabama Notre Dame would have been a better number, or Alabama Penn State would have been a better number? And I'm not even.
I don't give a fuck about the number. Put the most deserving teams in, and Alabama is not one of the most deserving teams. They shouldn't be in. Army should be in over Alabama.
I just think you want to watch blowouts, then you didn't accomplish anything with the 12-team playoff and the system. And the system has the system is flawed as well. I don't like the conference championship, because how can you say, X team is more deserving, Boise State is more deserving than Arizona State? Winning the Big 12 is harder than winning the Mountain West. I'm sorry, I know we're going down a rabbit hole, but it's the same thing. With that. It's the same thing. And then also now you're going to have a Pac-12 team backing in there as well if you keep it at 12 teams, which is stupid. Because they're going to be
They don't have to back up.
There's language in there. Yeah, they do.
No, there's not. No, there's not.
Yes, they do. They have to honor them.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
What language?
There is language for the Pac-12. When they set the playoff, the Pac-12 was still intact.
There's no language for power conferences. None. All it says, the language is the top five ranked conference champions get an automatic bid. That's it. Doesn't matter what conference they are.
This is the last time I'm talking about this. I'm just saying, if you're gonna put these shit teams in the playoff, I'm probably not gonna watch it. I'm probably not
going to watch it.
I'm probably not watching SMU. I'm not gonna watch.
I promise you're gonna watch SMU Penn State. I know you. You're going to watch it.
I'll watch it, but it's just gonna be It's gonna be a complete crap show.
So don't lie. You're going to watch it. It doesn't matter who they put out there. You're gonna watch it.
I like football, but I don't want to see the stupid Pac-12 in the playoff getting an auto bid when Oregon State and Washington State play twice to fill out the conference schedule. Like, give me a break.
Yeah. Well, they're not going to do that. Don't worry. But you're definitely going to watch it, and that's what they're banking on, is the fact that this is the second most popular sport in America. You know what the first is? The fucking NFL. So you're not going to touch the NFL, but they're going to be – you're going to watch it. Everybody's going to watch it, and that's why I don't care what numbers they would have done. Everybody's going to watch it no matter what. It definitely might be. It might be. I don't know. Some of those USC Notre Dame matchups in the early 2000s were pretty fucking heavily viewed. But I agree. It has the chance to be, and it should be. It's going to be one of the most interesting matchups of the college football playoff. It means a lot for a lot of different reasons. Obviously, win and advance, survive and advance, the old John Calipari motto. Until he couldn't survive the first round anymore, and then they got rid of his ass. But in other news, I don't know if you saw this, Duke, but it's been blowing up my Twitter, and I have I did see College Game Day will be there, which is really cool. It's going to be there 3:30 on Friday, I believe. They're going to be in the library lawn. I'm trying my ass off to get there. We'll see if it happens. But and then I don't know. I'm assuming that College Game Day is going to do a twofer. And I think they're going to do a broadcast Friday and then fly to Columbus Friday afternoon and do a broadcast Saturday morning.
I think Joe's got it here. I would say probably 93 Florida State.
The only reason I'll push back is I think it was a lot. Yeah. No, that was probably, yeah.
NBC, I mean, at the time, that, before cable TV was what it was, I mean, Notre Dame was the only ticket in town for some people.
Yeah, that's fair. But I think Game Day is going to do their Saturday show in Columbus. I assume they still do one. I think they'll be on campus, that'll be cool too. But there is some news out of Columbus, and I think you might see a lot of orange in the horseshoe on Saturday, December 22nd.
This is something that I find interesting. Let's say I buy tickets and I have season tickets. I can sell them to whoever I want.
Yeah, you can, but this isn't even that. What this is Ohio State absolutely dropping the ball. And here's why. I have on good authority from multiple season ticket holders that I know that were unable to buy tickets because they were sold out to season ticket holders. I think they got their 2 guaranteed, but then you could buy up to 6 more. And the reason was Ohio State gave every season ticket holder the same passcode to log in and buy more tickets. And you didn't have to verify you were a season ticket holder. There was no process. So, you know what that passcode was?
No, Baloney 1.
OSUFB. Ohio State football. And Tennessee fans, one guy got a hold of it. A bunch of guys guessed it. And Tennessee fans bought up a lot of the tickets that were supposed to go to season ticket holders. And season ticket holders are pissed. I mean, I was on the phone with one today, and he said he called the ticket office and said, "This is bullshit. I pay for season tickets. I have for 20 years, and I bought my 2, I was sent the code.
I'm working on that right now, but keep rolling.
Yeah, no, I believe that is true. I believe Belichick is the next coach of North Carolina. But they went to buy their next allotment, and it's sold out. And there's people, I mean, verified accounts on Twitter, verified people that I know that are Tennessee fans that use the OSU FB promo code or ticket code or whatever, and they bought 6 tickets. I mean, they screenshots of the tickets with everything scratched out so you couldn't see. And I'm telling you right now, Tennessee, I'm not worried about a takeover. Like, they aren't going to take the stadium over, but there's going to be a lot more orange than people think.
I think the big thing is people are underestimating the folks that are buying the tickets. People buy tickets to make money, like Taylor Swift's. Hey, okay, all right. Hey, David, do you want to produce the show? I don't know how many times we have to go through this. People click this and think that the only thing we're going to talk about is Brian Hartline. You think I really want to talk about an hour of Brian Hartline, the wide receiver coach that took a fucking job interview? Like, seriously, David? Like, how about you produce a whole show for 5 days a week? That's all I want you to do. Because you know why? I bet you can't do it. It's not clickbait, but, you know, we knew this a couple of days ago, and we're just now getting around to talking about it.
Yep. But Brian Hartline will be discussed, I promise. It's an hour-long show. We don't spend the whole time talking about the main topic, because if we did, it would be a pretty boring show. But anyways, so yeah, and David, I hope you got your tickets to the Ohio State game, because if not, Tennessee fans are buying them up in droves, and it's going to be a lot of scarlet and orange in the horseshoe, I think. So hopefully, I being the big Buckeye fan that you are, I am sure you have your tickets. You're ready to go. You probably bought them all. You're good. And if not, you'll lay out $1,000 to go buy 2 tickets to the game, even though I don't know if they'll go for that much, because nobody at Ohio State wants to go to games anymore. But
well, I mean, whenever the stadium atmosphere is like a funeral home, why would you want to go? I don't think that, as Dave's here says, I don't know how many open seats they'll have. I think that there'll be people that will go. It'll just be.
So yeah, Tennessee got allotted, I think, 3,500 tickets, which is what the away team gets allotted at every home game at Ohio State. Crazy low amount. But on top of that, season ticket holders, I'd have to look up how many there are, but there's probably about 10 to 20,000 of them. They're allotted 2, guaranteed. They can purchase up to 6 more beyond that guarantee. So that's, let's say, we'll just call it 60,000 of the seats are season ticket holders, 65,000 including the away fans. Only 20,000 of them are allotted to season ticket holders, and then the other 40,000 are in the extra bucket. So potentially, if a Tennessee fan got all the other tickets, you could have 45,000 Tennessee fans before you even get into secondary sites like StubHub that resell tickets. I'm not saying that happened. Obviously, Tennessee fans didn't eat up the entire allotment for season ticket holders or anything like that. But I'm just saying there's going to be a lot of Tennessee fans that ate up their entire 3,500 seats in a minute and a half, and then they got the code and ate up a lot of the season ticket holders as well. And they're going to spend secondary prices to go as well. And Notre Dame and every school has this, where you get tickets, and then Notre Dame fans or Ohio State fans or Bama fans or whoever resell them to the opposing team. It's just, there's no way to know if you sell them on a site like StubHub. So yeah, there's a good portion that will go to Tennessee fans. And if you're a Tennessee fan, I don't blame you. If you got it, do it. But
right, it's just one of those things that I don't think that they'll budge too awful much on the whole season ticket thing. And I mean, OSU completely dropped the ball. I seen stuff. A buddy of mine's kid goes to Penn State. They're freaking out because they pay for student season tickets, and they went and looked, and the agreement says nothing about allotment for student tickets for the playoffs. And I guess they're whacking up the student section, and there's people pissed about that. And it's just, I mean,
it's a lot.
How did nobody account for this? Like, you didn't think that the students, I mean, I get it, the students aren't in school, but that's just what it is.
Well, so at Ohio State, and I'm sure it's at most major colleges, the students go on break Friday.
Yeah.
And then the game Saturday. So, like, I promise you, if I was a student at Ohio State, at Notre Dame, any of these schools, I'm telling my parents, hey, book the fucking flight for Sunday because I'm going to the game. So the students will be there. Absolutely. And, I said 20% to be low just because I don't want to overestimate things. But, yeah, no, the percentage of tickets that go to season ticket holders is probably higher than that. You're right. But I don't know. Smoking crack. Who knows? I mean, hey, good for you, bro.
Yikes. Lighten up the proverbial light bulb.
But I guess we might as well get into it. Right, Duke?
Topic du jour.
Yeah, might as well do it. Brian Hartline. Is he trying to find his way out of Columbus?
Well, wouldn't you like to have options?
I think everybody has options. Now, here's the thing. Like, I think, so I know here's the facts of what I know, and I've heard this from people that I trust very highly. Brian Hartline interviewed for the head coaching position at West Virginia. He was not offered the position yet. I think there have been reports come out that their first pick was Rich Rod. And I believe since we've even started the show, it's come out that Rich Rod is going to accept that position. So it doesn't look like Brian Hartline's going to go to West Virginia right now. That could change. Who knows? But he is taking interviews. And I think it's interesting to me that he is going out and doing this right now, because he had an opportunity last year to build his resume, to go out and continue this path, and he fumbled it. He was a failure as an offensive coordinator. He couldn't call plays, so Ryan Day took it back. And now I think there is a contingent in the program that some of these coaches that you don't think are going to leave, or that you think don't want to leave, I think Brian Hartline's sick of Ryan Day. I think he wants to go out, wants to build his own path, and I think he's going to be looking for a head coaching position, and I think he wants out of Columbus.
Well, how do you learn how to call plays when, I mean, I heard Kirk Barton say it on Buckeye Scoop that he talked to somebody that evaluates film, and he said that there's no way you cannot tell me that Ryan Day didn't call that game. I mean, Chip Kelly's his mentor, and he ripped the play calling away from Chip Kelly. I just, if you're Brian Hartline, how do you even learn when you're, we said it with the Corey Dennis thing. We said it with the Tony Alford thing. Ryan's fired everybody. There's nobody left. We fired Stud. We were on the verge, I think, of firing Justin Fry. I wouldn't be shocked if Keenan Bailey's not on the chopping block.
Yeah. So
everybody on offense this offseason's on the chopping block. Like they fired Perry Eliano for no reason.
Well, yeah.
They tried to spin it and say he wasn't doing his job, and it's just like, okay. We'll see.
Well, so here I'll give you my opinion on that because I know somebody that was a wide receivers coach and did call plays from time to time. And maybe it's different under Ryan as opposed to somebody like Urban or some of the other coaches that I know and have talked with about this. But just because you're not the offensive coordinator doesn't mean you don't learn how to call plays. Like, you should pick that up as just intrinsic. You're around it, you hear it, you understand it, you start to learn the thought process of an offense coordinator. You start to learn from these people before you ever step into a position of calling plays, right? 1 second, we'll jump to that after this. But if I'm Brian Hartline, first of all, played at Ohio State, had an NFL career, has been a coach for 6 years. How does that not translate into being able to call plays? Because from what I heard last year, when he was asked to call plays, it was an absolute disaster. Like, he couldn't do it. I mean, reminiscent of Ed Warner. Like, couldn't call a play, was trying to call jet when that's not even a fucking play. And if you are somebody with the level of IQ that you're expected to have as a former NFL player and as a 6-year coach, I know coaches that coach 1 or 2 years and pick it up and can understand. And if you were in a pinch and needed them to call a play, they could do it. So it's not intrinsically that hard.
Well, I just feel like, there's a lot of things getting micromanaged here, and
It could be the head coach. It could be. I'm not shifting all the blame.
When you're never not allowed to do something, and pretty much on the offensive side of the ball at Ohio State, there is no room for expansion. There is no room for growth.
Well, that's a Ryan Day problem then, because that's not how it should be. And I have firsthand knowledge of Urban Meyer was never like that. Urban Meyer had final say on every play call. But Urban Meyer empowered his people to make the calls. And if he didn't like it, he'd be like, no, I don't like that. Let's go with something else. And then he would hear opinions and he would pick a play or whatever, however it worked. But I know for a fact that a wide receiver coach at Ohio State called plays in 2014, 15, 16, 17, and never was the offensive coordinator. Now, he didn't call every play, but if he saw something, he'd be like, hey, in this situation, I like this. And the offense coordinator and Urban would be like, ooh, actually, yeah, that's a good, yeah, let's run it. And so it should be a collaborative approach.
Yeah, I think you have multiple people on the headset talking and like calling a wide receiver pass in the Sugar Bowl,
Yeah, I mean, something like that, and just knowing the obviously different situation that the person I'm alluding to had an intimate knowledge of Urban's philosophy and could do that because that's what he grew up in, and maybe a little bit, but taking away the play calling from the guy who taught you play calling in the biggest game of the year is an interesting decision.
It's, control. I mean, that is absolute control freak at its finest.
But I've seen a lot of Ohio State fans saying, like, why would Brian Hartline take the West Virginia job? Like, that's not a good job. And it's like, I think you guys overestimate Brian Hartline's value extremely. Like, there's nobody else asking. Like, there's not a major program. Like, Texas isn't lining up to interview Brian Hartline. USC is not lining up to interview Brian Hartline. Because if Brian Hartline was as good as everybody in Columbus thought he was, and I'm not saying this is any disrespect to him. I think he's a phenomenal wide receivers coach. Let me say that. But they wouldn't have had to hire Chip Kelly this year. They would already have an offensive coordinator. And some of that probably falls on Ryan.
I'll play devil's advocate here on this. If you're not empowering, the people that work under you to make decisions, and 100%. you just completely override the play calling, I think that you've backed yourself into such a corner to where I think the Kirk and Nevada, talked about the players only meeting where they were lighting up Ryan Day, and he still wouldn't take responsibility for it. So I think
that's not proof like that.
But
Hearsay.
But
throw it out, Your Honor. But if it happened, I agree. But I'm not here to get into that.
But I'm just saying that you can only hear so much of the same stuff over and over and over again.
Well, and I think the bigger thing is if you are essentially, Ryan Day is a CEO, right? He is the CEO of one of the most powerful college football programs in America.
Mm-hmm.
If you're the CEO of a business, I ran a business for years. I can understand what Ryan is going through, because when you start out the way Ryan did, right? You build your resume, you build your legacy, you build your reputation on being great at one thing, right? Play calling. He was a great play caller and quarterback developer. You get promoted to head coach at Ohio State, which is like getting promoted to CEO of a company. And you built that, you earned that promotion by being good at certain things. It is very difficult when you know you're good at something to give that up and delegate it, and then you see the results aren't what you think they should be, and not just be like, fuck, I'll do it myself. Jesus Christ. Like, you guys, and that's different than this year, because I think the results this year were pretty good up until the Michigan game for the Ohio State offense. It had been pretty successful other than the Nebraska game. And he saw it and said, I could do this better. Let me just take this on. I'll do it. We'll get through this little bump in the road, and then we'll figure it out. And I've done that as somebody that ran a business. I did that. I went into a department and was like, hey, you guys are fucking up. This is what I know. Let me help you. I'll do it. I'll do it for right now, and I'll teach you guys how to do it while I do it. And all that did was make it harder for me to run my business, right? Because I was micromanaging things, and it just doesn't work. And so true leaders, true successful people can micromanage, let them fail, and build them back up, and do it the right way, which is something that somebody like an Urban Meyer, Nick Saban, was really good at. And I think Ryan just continuously learns that lesson, but doesn't actually learn it.
Well, also, you're the head coach at Ohio State, and, you have a ton of first-round draft picks, and you promoted all your interns.
Well, and the pressure's on him, right? Like, there's no pressure on Chip Kelly to go out and beat Michigan. No. The pressure's on him. If the team fails, it's on Ryan Day. And so he feels like his best bet to succeed is for him to do all these things. And it's like, dude, that's not going to work. That's not a sustainable business model. It's just not.
And here's the prime example. They bring up the record. Well, he's 47-1 against everybody he's supposed to beat. And, like, I understand that, but I don't know. There has got to be a means to an end with this, with the Ryan Day stuff, because this is not Ohio State moving forward. This is not a sustainable. This is a very unstable program.
Yeah, I think. And the thing, I think the bigger issue is you're not paid $10 million a year to beat the teams you're supposed to beat. That should just be a given. You're at Ohio State. You should beat fucking Minnesota. It's not that hard. 7 teams a year do it. But you should beat the teams that you're equal with at least 70% of the time.
And see, what happens was when Ohio State under Ryan Day gets in the playoffs, they get cooked against teams with equal talent.
Yep. But I do want to get – go ahead.
And we got to reset the show, but it's just teams with equal talent, and I'm with G on this one.
We'll get to all the questions in the chat in a minute. Let's go ahead, reset the show, and then if you have questions in the chat, if you're on Twitter, come over to YouTube, put the questions in. We'll finish out with questions from the chat here, but like and subscribe. Hit the bell notification so you know when we go live. It's 5 days a week minimum. Usually 7:30, occasionally bump it back, but Just depends on kids and stuff like that. We're all fathers here, so things come up. But if you're on Twitter, come over to YouTube, get in the chat with my guys Joe, Brendan, G, Dave. Dave is here. It's right there in his name. But I appreciate everybody tuning in. But let's get to some of these questions here. So first one on here. Would you look at Ryan Day for USC should changes happen?
I think that I think this year USC does not come available. I don't know. If Kingsbury gets an NFL head job, like if he gets the Bears job, could I see Lincoln going to the NFL to where he doesn't have to deal with recruiting? I mean, he would take a significant pay cut, but I don't think it's about the money. I think it's about getting out of Southern California.
I don't think Lincoln takes a job that isn't a head coaching job, though.
I don't know. I think him or Kingsbury will get the Bears job, and they might hire each other. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think Kingsbury takes the OC job if Lincoln gets the head coaching job. I think that's more plausible. I don't think Lincoln. I don't think his ego could take failing at USC and taking an OC job in the NFL. Like that. I don't know him, but I know coaches, and that ego, like that kick to the ego, is something I don't see him take, especially when he's got $80 million on the table. Like,
yeah,
there's no way.
Unless he hates recruiting that bad.
I still, you have 80 million reasons why you should be recruiting, and I'm sorry.
Then again, being a fired football coach pays well.
Exactly. But I don't hate Ryan going to USC if something miraculous happened there. I don't think he would leave Ohio State to go to USC unless he was told to leave. Like, I don't think he's leaving Ohio State and they want him to stay. Like, if Ohio State wants to keep Ryan Day, they're going to keep Ryan Day unless he goes to the NFL. I think that's the only step he would take that would pull him away from Ohio State. That isn't Ohio State telling him, hey, go find a job. I think that's where I'm at with it. Again, I know Ryan a little bit, but I just don't think there's any chance that he does that. Another one from the chat here. Brandon here said he heard Caleb Downs might transfer out after the playoffs. Do you have have you heard any rumblings about this?
I don't think that I don't think Caleb Downs is going to make a move unless the playoff game absolutely just falls off the tracks.
I don't think he's leaving. I think him and Jeremiah Smith are both very happy with the decision they made to come to Ohio State. Caleb Downs might win the Thorpe Award and is getting developed at a high level. And yeah, he might not be happy with some of the coaching decisions in the Michigan game, but I don't foresee him going anywhere. I think he's going to make enough money at Ohio State to be happy, and he's going to set himself up to be a first-round draft pick, and I don't foresee him leaving. That doesn't mean he won't, but I don't see it. And then let's see, only a small, I think mostly it's Midwest people that know who Brian Hartline is. Not really. I mean, he's kind of a household name in college football now because of his recruiting, but Hartline should keep his options open. Are there similarities to Alford? Maybe it doesn't trust Day. Get off the ship before it sinks. That's an interesting comparison. I would say my opinion is there are some similarities, right? They're one of the few coaches left from that original staff that Ryan inherited from Urban Meyer. Now, granted, Hartline wasn't technically the wide receivers coach until Urban's last year, but he did inherit that staff, and I'm pretty sure everybody else from that staff other than Larry Johnson has moved on or been told to move on. So there might be a little bit there. I think the difference is Brian has been wildly successful and not that Alfred was a bad coach, but he lost some recruiting battles. He wasn't pegged as the best recruiter, and he struggled to develop talent at times, is what Ohio State people will tell you. Whereas the opposite is true for Brian Hartline. He is known widely as the best recruiter on staff, has developed crazy talent that has gone on into the league. So that, but there might be some similarities in the relationship with Ryan Day and things like that for sure. Anything else?
Joe's got one.
I don't know. I think the NFL loves the idea of things. So we'll see. I don't know. Is my lighting that bad? Jesus.
Zach, ZD, appreciate you watching this show. We all know that you and Elks are boys, so it's all good.
Elks, oh boy.
Brendan,
if we ever get an Elks chat, I didn't think my lighting was bad. I can turn the overhead light on. I thought it was better this way, but I can turn some more lights on. I paid the electric bill. We're good.
Yeah. So,
but
let's keep rolling down the notes.
Oh, you don't support Disney? I don't know.
Oh no!
I think you got some Minnie Mouse ears in your house.
Did Elks? Does Elks make you wear the Minnie costume?
For those who don't know, Elks is another member of another group that ZD's in, and he loves him some Disney.
And some Dole Whip, I hear.
Yeah, some Dole Whip. hey, Zach, I don't know who you are, but why don't you eat a dick?
Right? Joe's got it down right here. See,
thank you.
This is good. And also ZD is very jealous of my. I'm not putting that up on screen, Rich.
Jesus. All right, that threw me off. Anyways, the last thing I want to talk about, it's on the hub for sure. It's on the hub for sure.
Go find Aimbot Chris.
Oh God, Aimbot Chris on the hub. Anyways, my God, God damn it! All right, this chat is going off the rails. Last thing I do want to touch on, Marcus Freeman was asked about the rumors of him leaving for an NFL job and quickly shut it down. He quickly shut it down, said that he has no interest. He did have a one pause-worthy comment that said 18 to 22-year-olds are what he likes. And I was like, whoa, all right, buddy. I'm pretty sure you're married. Maybe don't say that out loud. But he said he's not leaving anywhere. He doesn't want to go anywhere. And so I think Notre Dame fans can rest easy. He's not going to take the Chicago job. He's not looking at the NFL. And I believe he is also not looking at Ohio State. I don't think he wants to go to Ohio State. Allegedly, he never wanted to go to Ohio State in the first place and wishes he would have gone to Notre Dame. Now, that could just be coach speak because he's the coach of Notre Dame, but he's not going anywhere.
Oh, yeah,
Hey, breaking news. The recruiting guy at Notre Dame messages Marcus's wife a lot? Uh-oh.
Huh. That's weird.
Yeah, watch out for that. And then last thing here before we get out of here, we do have a wonderful bracket challenge on ESPN, the College Football Playoff Bracket Challenge. You can look it up on there. Just type in Andre Duke, it'll pull up. It's Andre Duke and Carter Smith's bracket challenge or something like that. Password is Laces Out 2024. So capital L, everything else is lowercase, 2024. Jump in, fill out your bracket, $20 to enter. We'll Venmo Richie the $20. And so once you enter it, just like take a screenshot or whatever and DM me and we'll get it all set up. I'll send you the the Venmo. I believe we decided we're just going to do winner takes all. I think that's what we decided on. First place gets all the money. Right now, we've got like 10 people in there. We're going to try to get as many people as we can. So, you know, you can win a couple $100. If we get enough people, who knows, maybe $1,000 or so. You know, ZD, I'll message you after the show. I don't want to put Richie's Venmo out publicly, but I'll send you the Venmo. That way you can get it set up. But yeah, definitely join in, and we'll post updates on social media and things like that throughout the whole thing. But we'll obviously talk about it on the show as well. But if you're out there on Twitter, on Instagram, on any social medias, come out to the YouTube, like and subscribe. We got a lot of guys in the chat tonight. It was a lot of fun. I appreciate everybody tuning in. We're also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that stuff. It should automatically upload. If it doesn't, I will fix it yet again. But other than that, man, Duke, you got anything else before we get out of here?
Nope, I got nothing. It's been a great Wednesday show. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Yep, tomorrow at 7:30. All right, have a good night, everybody.